evening, everybody, and welcome to the best doggone podcast in the land with Ethan and Heather. Good evening, everybody. We are a part of the Fanatical Elves Network, a subsidiary of Fans First Sports Network. Welcome on in. How are you doing this evening, Heather?
I don't know. I think I'm okay. I think I'm all right.
I feel like it's normal to have to. Yeah. It's normal to have to ask yourself, honestly, am I doing all right? I'm not sure here. And, welcome into all of our listeners. Mike from across the pond, he's watching this one. And I even got him turned on to watching Kent State right now. They're at halftime, trailing in the NIT quarterfinals, trying to reach their first NIT semifinal, trailing to Sister Jean.
Oh, no. Sister Jean?
Yeah.
I mean, we all remember Sister Jean, so.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not liking it, but they're down by 4, and it is what it is.
I actually should turn it on here. I have like 47 TVs, but
I know, isn't it the best? It's like we need to have a TV emporium. You could be like the TV wall at the Best Buy.
It's better than a bar, I'll tell you that, because the service here stinks. Like my dog judges me, but I can at least wear comfortable clothes and not have to worry about what I look like. So
and not have to worry about using the restroom either.
Right. It's nice. It's nice.
It is definitely a bonus when you can be in the comfort of your own home and view your sports. There's something about being there, but at the same time, if I'm going to watch it, might as well watch it at home, right?
Yeah, I have 4. At any given moment, I have 4 going. I have 3 mounted on the wall, and then I have 1 that I can bring on the floor. So it's kind of nice.
That is a fantastic setup. Oh, my gosh. Well, you know what, Heather? As you said it best to me, there's never a dull moment.
Today was wild, right?
It was. I'm sitting and I'm working. So the first thing I wanted to just mention, because we had on our list of things to talk about, we're going to talk about the NFL quarterback carousel. Of course, our Browns are one of the few teams that needs a quarterback. Well, all of a sudden this afternoon for about 45 minutes, the internet is blowing up because Bruce Trennan said, I've got a source with the Browns, and there's a trade in the works with the Cowboys for Dak Prescott. I've got a source. No, you don't.
You have 0 sources. You have exactly 0 sources. And
he has as many sources as the amount of time Johnny Manziel watched video.
Game film. Yeah.
0.
Right. Yeah. The amount of hours that Johnny Manziel watched game film is equivalent to the amount of sources that Bruce Trennan has. And that's not like Bruce, like, dude, like people love you. Just don't even get involved in this. Stick with the Guardians. That's what we know you for.
You're
with the
an idiot and you don't know baseball.
I don't know what was that angle today? Like, what was that? And I saw it posted and a couple of people tagged me in it. And I said, there is a 0% chance that this happens. I said, bookmark it. Like because if I'm wrong, I'll eat it, but I'm not wrong. And then all of a sudden it comes out like there is 0 credibility to this. And we're all, what? But excuse me, it's one of those things where it gets put out on the internet. So automatically it's true. Yes. You're going to have 50% of your viewers are going to blindly believe every single thing that you post.
Right. I was just complaining about this yesterday after the whole thing with Deion Sanders at the business conference saying, yeah, we hope to be in New York. We hope for the Giants. And there's no video proof of it. And then Deion is, whether he's telling the truth or not, he says whoever posted that originally, that's a lie. And
I believe that Deion Sanders stands on his business. When he says it with his chest. He doesn't. Yeah, Mike, it was 90 million worth of no chance. So where did that come from? Like, why would you start that? Why would you even, were you bored? Did you really truly believe that we had it? Make it make sense, Bruce. I don't understand where that was coming from. Maybe he doesn't like the quarterback draft class. None of us do either, but it ain't Dak, babe.
Right. Well, if there's a number of problems with it. So the first and foremost, there's the whole financial ramifications of it actually being plausible. And I have serious doubt about that.
Yeah.
The other part of it, I saw someone post this, and it's quite plausible though. Wonder if the Browns are like, I wonder if we have a mole in here, and that this person who they think someone's a mole, and that source
Mm-hmm.
leaks it to Bruce Drennan, and now they're like, now we got something here. I could be that's pure speculation on my part, but it's an
No,
interesting
but
thought.
that's an interesting prospect. Or that's an interesting thought though, because maybe it is because there are so many of these, sources say, and a lot of them happen. A lot of them are true. So you have to wonder who the leaks are. And you also have to wonder how much of it is leaked purposely. Like,
Oh
okay,
yeah,
this Bruce Drennan thing is that was not done. Maybe that was done on purpose, but there are some stories that are leaked purposely because they're feel good stories, or they're more positive, or because the Browns have a little bit of a black eye right now.
oh yeah, and the negative too. Right before the draft, I mean, we're gonna hear stories about some of these players doing certain things, so the other teams are like, hey, we can spread this rumor, maybe they'll fall down the draft board and slide right to us. And it's just
Right.
crazy that
That's
people
a
do that.
possibility too, right? That's a distinct possibility because I am seeing on multiple different sources, reputable sources, that Cam Ward is that the Titans are very interested in Cam Ward,
Right.
which that bums me out. That does bum me out. I'm not a Shador hater. I don't think that he's going to be as great. I would like Cam Ward.
I think most of us would. I don't have a problem with either to be quite honest. Based upon what we've seen, some of the things we've heard, I'm fine with either. They each bring something different to the table. Like Lance said when he was on with us, he talked about
Mhm.
Ward having the higher ceiling, but Shador Sanders having the lower floor. So
Right. That's
either way
true.
works, and I like the way Sanders and what he's gone through. The fact that he dealt with a poop line and still managed to do pretty well. They both have their warts. Let's
They
be
do,
honest
they
here.
do. But look who Shador had around him. Like that's my thing. Like you don't have the best player in college football and not be good. Like I think that's where we're at with Will Howard too. I think Will Howard looks a little bit better than maybe he really was because he had the arguably the
Yeah.
best receiver. And I know he didn't win the Bolitnikoff, but let's be real here. He was the best receiver in college football. And I just think that Will Howard had better talent around him. Cam Ward to me did not. Cam Ward made his team better, not the other way around. And I think sometimes that with Sanders that they made him a little bit better. Not that he's not good. I'm not saying that.
Right. Yeah,
But
I hear you. I'd have to look at the stats, but I mean, other than the only player I knew on that team other than Shador Sanders was Travis Hunter. I don't know anybody else, and I know that Shador Sanders was under duress a lot.
well, he was under duress a lot.
He stood
He
tall in
wasn't
the pocket. He stood
and
tall
he
in the pocket, made
yeah.
the throws. That's NFL quarterbacking 101 is to be able to stand in the pocket, make
Right.
throws, and not be
Not
afraid
panic.
of getting knocked on your tail.
Yeah, and he will if he goes to the Browns. He will be scrambling.
Oh, our offensive line is going to get better, and
It can't get worse.
last year we screwed up majorly. We all know this, running that stupid shotgun spread offense and moving away from the wide zone scheme just to try and make the most out of our washed up quarterback, DeTrash
Right.
Watson. So,
Right.
I mean, it's crazy there. And so you've got all these rumors and things. So you had the Bruce Drennan thing. Then this afternoon, I'm reaching the end of the day. What is all this stuff they're talking about? LeBron talking about Brian Windhorst? What?
Like, what is
in the
even
heck?
happening? What is even happening today?
Yeah, we're in a bizarro world.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Did you catch the clip of what was said and what LeBron replied to? Did you have an opportunity to check that out?
About which
About
Stephen A,
what?
about
Well,
Windhorst,
no, about I'm sorry, about what Brian Windhorst.
Yes.
Did you catch what it was that he had said? And then the clip of LeBron talking on Pat McAfee, and
Yes.
which was his reply. You caught that, right?
Yes, and we can't repeat it.
No, we certainly can't. We're not going to. But what?
I did see that. And
Right.
I'm just curious, like, why now? Like, why are we rehashing a lot of this stuff now? Okay. Let me ask you before I blow my mouth off about my opinion on this whole thing. Let me, because I always go first. Like, let me ask you, what do you think about it?
All right. So
Oh,
first,
wait a minute. Mike didn't see this. Mike didn't see this. Okay, so Mike, you need to go on TikTok. You'll get the unedited version. You get the full. If you're not on TikTok, just Google it. Google me, just like
Google it. It's on YouTube. You will find the clip. So there's a clip of. All right. So here's where what I understand and what I saw on I guess the NBA show is Stephen A. It was Brian, and I don't know the other two by name. Okay. They're having
no,
a conversation. We're talking about being the face of the NBA, not being the face of the NBA, and LeBron James. So Brian, as many people know who've been around the Cavs, especially during the LeBron years, Brian Windhorst also went to St. Vincent St. Mary's.
They didn't go to school at the same time, but
they were there. They may have overlapped a little
yeah,
bit.
Right.
Brian
but Windhorst covered him.
Right. Brian was working at the Akron Beacon Journal even when he was at Kent State. I personally, although we're not like best buddies, I had at least one class with Brian. I know Brian. So because Brian was working and covering LeBron at when he was working at the Akron Beacon Journal and LeBron was at St. Vincent St. Mary's, he had obviously he was very close to the situation. And so when LeBron gets drafted to the Cavs, Brian keeps covering this, and ultimately he gets hired by ESPN. And then when LeBron leaves and goes to Miami, they send Brian to Miami. And Brian has made a name for himself. It's not just covering LeBron. So I wanted to kind of give the first and foremost that I have a lot of respect for what Brian does because it's not all about LeBron. I think he was in the right place at the right time, but he worked hard.
He did work hard. He wasn't handed this opportunity.
Right. Exactly.
Just like everything in life, something has to work out the right way. We have to get a break, and Brian got a break, but he worked to keep that break, if that makes any sense.
He absolutely did. He did everything he was supposed to do because you can be a crappy journalist. You could be a crappy journalist and not be able to get jobs. And Brian did a fantastic job. Now, Mike, I know you're asking about this, and I'm hoping I can maybe find the clip of Brian on on whichever ESPN program he was on. But my opinion of it is that I don't think that what Brian said was so harsh. The one comment he made, which apparently drew the ire of LeBron, was talking about him being the face of basketball. And he said, why did he choose jersey 23, Michael Jordan? Which LeBron says yes. He said, why did he choose Nike, Michael Jordan? And that one LeBron took offense to because as the story goes, originally I think Reebok wanted to sign him. There was a whole deal, and ultimately he ended up going with Nike. He got a better deal. And LeBron explains that, hey, look, they gave me he got whatever 7-year, $90 million contract. He's like, I want to be able to wear the Nike apparel and everything when I go out. I would too. Reebok sucks.
I would too. I wouldn't want Reebok.
Well, right, exactly. So he took offense to that, but I didn't think he act like he's my best friend or something. It's like,
well, and then he dropped a couple of expletives in there because Windhorst said, like, we used to be really close. We used to text, but we just fell off. And that was all he said. He didn't say LeBron's a jerk. He didn't say anything like blah, blah, blah. Oh, okay. This is
stalking me. Yeah, it's
he's been stalking me. Like, sir, it is his job to cover. He was the biggest. He was bigger than players in the NBA when he was in high school.
Yes, absolutely.
And LeBron knows that. Don't think for a second that LeBron doesn't know that.
Right.
So it was Brian Windhorst's job. Do I like Brian Windhorst? I don't know. I don't know the guy. Do I think he's a little bit pompous? Yeah. Do you have to be in that line of business? A little bit. Yeah. Because you're dealing with the biggest egos on planet Earth, a la LeBron James, who dubbed himself the king. The guy dubbed himself the king. So of course, Windhorse had to have like a certain level of, chest puffery. You have to. I think that was a little bit out of pocket. I think it was a lot out of pocket. LeBron was on the Pat McAfee show, and if anybody has watched that show, you know how it is. So I think he was just puffing his own chest up, trying to act like Mr. Cool.
Yeah, and they're like, hey, wasn't he on your team? And they show this picture up on the wall, and they had like photoshopped Brian's head onto one of the players.
Yeah, they
did. I mean, wait a second.
Yeah.
So it's just crazy. And so again, everything was off the rails this afternoon. It just was nuts. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, what the heck?
How did you see? So I missed this. I didn't see. I don't know if any of our listeners can verify that. I have not had time to verify this today because I only saw bits and pieces of this. But apparently I saw on Twitter today, or X, whatever you want to call it, that people were losing their minds because they said that LeBron was trashing that 07 team that made it to the finals, talking about how they were terrible. And so I didn't see any of that. I don't know if anybody that's listening out there wants to comment, or you can
send us a link, do something.
Yeah, I don't know, but I saw a lot of people complaining about that too. And if that's the case, that's terrible. They can't help. They played their ass off, and I said the A word, but they did. They did the best that he took that team to the finals. Yes, but I was at Game 6. I was at Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals when we beat Detroit to go to the finals. And I'm telling you right now, Boobie Gibson was on fire. So it's not like LeBron had to score 100 points a game either. He did have a little bit of support.
He did. It was kind of crazy what he had to do to get them to that point. And I apologize. I'm trying to pull up this video if I can, that's on YouTube. If I can find the part where here it is. Okay, so bear with me, folks. We're gonna pull this up and share what it is that we are talking about for those of you who did not see it. With what started our discussion, with Brian Windhorst. So bear with me for 1 second as I am going to pull this up. And we're gonna
and that's what I'm trying to look up. I'm trying to see. Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Cut it out just for brevity. He also said,
So wait, here we go. So there's
the spectrum, because it is both. I know it's not as fun to say both, because LeBron can both say that I am held to an unfair standard, and yet he chose to wear number 23. Mm-hmm. He said also in this clip, we cut it out just for brevity, he also said, I never asked to be the face of the league.
Lies.
Of course he asked to be the face of the league. He signed a $90 million Nike contract, which he could have signed with Reebok for more money, by the way, but he signed with Nike. Why? Because of Jordan. So yes, it is unfair at times to hold him to that standard, which, as you have described, is unimpeachable, but he also has invited it. So he is a billionaire because people across the world are attracted to the game. One of the reasons they're attracted to the game is because of the entertainment value that it brings beyond just before the ball going into the basket. Mm-hmm. So it would be more fun to take one side or the other and just scream at each other, face of the league, no, I'm not. Face of the league, no, I'm not. But that's not reality. Reality is it's in the middle. That's where I go. That's why I don't get to have as much fun. But that is the truth.
So, yeah.
Okay, so what is wrong with what he said? He literally was playing right down the middle, Peacekeeper.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, the only thing that LeBron specifically commented on was that he felt that the Nike comment was out of line, and I guess he decided to bring in other stuff. I have this feeling. Do you think that LeBron, and I've seen other people talk about Brian riding LeBron's coattails, do you think LeBron kind of sees him as like, dude, without me, you'd be nowhere?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I think that LeBron feels like that about everybody except his son, which is why he hates Stephen A. Smith, because Stephen A. Smith spoke the truth and he said, you're coming to me as a dad. I'm saying that Bronny, the only reason he is in the league is because of you, and he is not wrong. No, there were way better players. And how ironic was it that the Lakers drafted Bronny? Like, come on, give me a break. And that was a contract year for LeBron. So come on, give me a break.
Yeah, he obviously, he got the opportunity because of his name, because of the relationship. If it was anybody else, that would not have happened. Now, I will say, I've actually kind of been watching, and it seems like Bronny is doing pretty well this season. He's doing okay in the G League. He's getting some experience. I don't think he's going to be LeBron. Okay,
he's never going, and I don't even think he's going to be an NBA player.
He may make it as a rotational piece. We've seen some pretty terrible players.
Well, we have seen some pretty terrible players.
So if they can make it in the league for half a dozen years as a role player, he probably can make it half a dozen years in the league as a role player. It's pretty impressive. Look at Michael Jordan's kids. Wow, they sucked.
I know. I know. They are. Yeah, there are. Yes, they do. Mm-hmm.
They do. So, does this go back to, remember when Charles Barkley said, we are not role models. I don't want to be a role model. Do you remember that whole controversies?
Yes, I do remember that. And at that time, in that time frame, like you could almost see like Charles Barkley meant it. He didn't play that role like LeBron played. LeBron had that. There's just something about him. He's what I like to call a suffering martyr. So he is the one that puts himself out there that he is going to be the one that saves everybody. And I'm going to do all of the work, and I'm going to be the face of the league, and I'm going to change everything. And then when he does, woe is me, I'm doing all of this work and no one appreciates me. So he martyrs himself, and then he suffers for it. So
yeah, no, I get it. I can't say that I disagree with that at all. Have you seen, though, there is a lot of hate for LeBron amongst people. Just they think he's a terrible person.
I've heard that, and then I've heard the opposite. I've heard that he's not. I found the quote that he said. So he said, he did trash them, but he said, you look back at our roster and you're like, what the hell? How is that possible? He said that he couldn't believe that he dragged that team into the finals. I mean, he's not wrong.
He's not. I don't.
Shush.
Yeah, but I don't think that means he has any disrespect, doesn't love the teammates and didn't love the players. But because he did that game in Detroit in Game 5,
he had 40. He had 49 or 48 points. 29 of their final 30 points that he had.
Yeah. It was crazy. It was
he was like he looked like Michael Jordan in the flu game. Like he didn't have any color to his skin. He needed IVs. Like he was dying. But how were you supposed to beat the Spurs in the final?
There was no way that
Jesus himself could have descended down and played for the Cavs, and they still would have lost to the Spurs in 4.
Come on, man, we had Sasha Pavlovich. What are you talking about?
We had Daniel Gooby Gibson, okay? We had Zydrunas Ilgauskas.
I love Z and Drew Gooden.
I did. We did have Drew Gooden. We did. And they did their best, but they had Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, and Manu Ginobili. Like, come on.
we were in a little bit of trouble. We were a bit outmatched.
We were a bit outmatched. But yeah, I saw that all today, and I feel like LeBron is just still trying to stay relevant. Not that he's not relevant anymore, but you have these up and comers, like you have these younger players, and you have different teams. The Lakers are still a really big market, but I mean, just to use the Cavs as an example, like the Cavs are on the national stage. Oklahoma City is on the national stage now. And I know the NBA probably hates it, but yeah. Mike said if you add a prime Kyrie to that team, we might have stolen one game. Yeah. I think that you guys got to give me a second. My dog is stuck.
Okay. Well, while they're stuck, we're going to talk about, what's going on here, folks. Thank you, everybody. Mike, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for commenting. It looks like my Kent State Golden Flashes are going to fall again here. I know it's early in the second half, but I'm not happy with what's happening right now. They're going to have to mount a heck of a comeback. Sister Jean has cursed us. Okay?
You can't win against Sister Jean, okay?
You can't. And I'm going to call my cousin who graduated from Loyola of Chicago, and we're going to have words because you know what? This is 2 times, Heather. This is 2 times because my other cousin, her sister, she went to Gettysburg College, and Gettysburg knocked out Randolph-Macon in the NCAA tournament, and I'm calling the game, and I had to go up there and deal with that. So I'm not happy with this. They're screwing me.
This is madness.
It is madness. Oh my goodness. Well, oh boy. So I think end of the day, I'm not sure what the deal is with LeBron. I don't know enough about him to say one way or another is how he is as a person. Certainly him leaving the first time, that whole Miami thing was horrific. And, the decision. But
that has to go down as one of the most heartbreaking things that we have ever experienced.
It goes as you said the other day. It's in the line of all of these bad things that have happened that we refer to as the.
Yeah.
And but then leaving the second time, we went to 4 straight finals, and but for Kelly Olynyk ripping Kevin Love's arm out of socket.
He ripped his arm right out of his socket.
Right. And a freak injury to Kyrie. I think we would have won the first one.
I do too. I think it would have been Cleveland. I think it would have been Cleveland, Golden State, Cleveland. Or I'm sorry, it would have been every other because it was every other, right? Because we went, because remember J.R. Smith had the very questionable.
In the last one, in game 1 of the 2018 series,
we would have won that game too had it not been for that. But
actually, it's George Hill's fault. Make your free throws.
He
makes the free throw. We're up by 1. He misses it, and then JR's like he was out on planet Mars. He'd been doing some edibles before they were legal, and I don't know what was going on. I don't even know. And LeBron's like, "Give me the ball! Give me the ball!" That was crazy stuff there. So I don't know, but you know what I do know? I think we should take a timeout and give a moment for our sponsors here. And then when we come back, let's talk a little bit of a quarterback carousel, what's going on in the NFL, get into a little March Madness, and maybe some NBA. We'll kind of whip things around here. Take a timeout. You are tuned in to the best doggone podcast in the land with Ethan and Heather. And welcome back, everybody, to the best doggone podcast in the land with Ethan and Heather. Thank you all for joining us. We are part of the Fanatical Elves Network, a subsidiary of the Fans First Sports Network. And folks, remember, please like and subscribe. You can find us on, check out our YouTube page. Check us out on our social media. Their links are there to the Twitter account for the best doggone podcast in the land. Go to the YouTube, like and subscribe, please. Also, here's a beautiful thing. As part of the Fanatical Elves Network and Fans First Sports Network, you can listen to the podcast later. You don't have to watch us live, or you don't have, if you're in the car, you can listen to us on all of your favorite podcasting platforms, whether it's Spotify. You can even find us on the Odyssey app, which I just recently found out. And you can find us on any of the other great places you go to find your podcast. Go to the Fanatical Elves Network, look up Cleveland Browns. We'll be in there. So please come and find us and do join us. We really appreciate it. So Heather, yesterday night, all of a sudden, one of the dominoes fell in the remaining quarterback capers in the NFL. Russell Wilson to the Giants. First of all, what are your thoughts on that?
To the Giants. Yeah, that surprised me. I didn't have that on my bingo card. I don't think that that's going to help them. I don't, maybe it'll help make them. Okay, no, I shouldn't say that. It's definitely going to help because it can't get much worse.
Right.
But I'm not sure that was the answer.
Well, right. And I kind of feel
I don't know what their end game is here.
No, I'm really not sure. And then you start to wonder, you're like, okay, what is that going to do for the draft? That's really the next question. So I guess it's a 2-part question. So by Russell Wilson going to the Giants, what does that do to their draft outlook? They're sitting at 3. What else is still out there that hasn't been solved? So I went through the list of the first round draft, and that's every team. Every team owns their own pick right now, which is kind of crazy. They were saying this is one of the first time in however long that all the teams at this juncture are still set to pick.
They got it by being bad. They earned it by being bad.
They did. No, they absolutely did. So I went through the list of all 32 teams in the NFL. So by my count, I came up with 3 teams that absolutely need to draft a quarterback. Titans, Browns, Steelers.
Yeah, the Steelers.
Who do they have? Mason Rudolph. I mean, Justin Fields went to the Jets, and Russ Wilson is to the Giants. And Mason Rudolph came out.
Right.
And we've got, well, that was 2 years ago. We've got small hands.
Okay. What about Aaron the Steelers?
See, so that's one of the wild cards. That's one of the things that's still out there. There's the question about Aaron Rodgers and where he might end up. Mm-hmm. There's still some questions about what's going to happen with Kirk Cousins in Atlanta because they've got Michael Penix. He got benched, toward the end of the season last year. He went on a real he just fell apart. I don't even know how else to say it. And Michael Penix takes over. He doesn't want to go somewhere to sit behind a rookie to get benched. He doesn't want to come in and have the same thing happen again. He's got a lot of money coming to him, and that's part of the deal. Are the Falcons willing to just cut him, or do they want a trade partner? Because right now it seems like they've got enough cap space that they're happy to hold on to him.
I think they're going to hold on to him.
Yeah, they're going to wait until a team is desperate. They're going to wait until a team is desperate.
They kind of have the upper hand here right now.
They do right now. They're fine. They're like, whatever. We got enough cap space. It's not a big deal. So there's very few people that are even left. If you're completely looking for a quarterback, you're either drafting one or you're kind of hosed. So as I look through the draft, Heather, at 1, the incumbent in Tennessee is Will Levis.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're drafting a quarterback, and I'm pretty certain it's going to be Cam Ward.
Yeah, which breaks my heart. It doesn't break my heart. Maybe I'm being a little dramatic. Not that I would ever be dramatic.
No, never. You?
No, but no, I wanted Cam Ward, and I whatever. Sanders is going to be fine. Like, I think, tomato, whose career are we going to ruin?
That breaks my heart right there, Heather. The lack of optimism. You're like the people, the Factory of Sadness who listens to the podcast.
Yeah, but we keep coming back.
There's only L's in Cleveland.
We keep coming back though. So there's always that hope. There's always next year.
Yes, that is the true motto that we live by as Cleveland sports fans. The Browns are sitting there at 2. We've got right now the only healthy quarterback on the roster is Kenny Tiny Hands Pickett.
Yeah,
John Watson is technically still on the roster, but he's not playing. He's done.
rehabbing. He's rehabbing. Can you see he's posting all over? He's posting all over Instagram and rehabbing. Please take that off. Please take the Cleveland gear off. And exactly. Mike has a good bring in Wentz if it's a vet. Yeah, I don't hate that. He's a good bridge He'd be a good bridge quarterback. But whoever we draft, they have to play a solid 7-8 games, I think. I
more than that, look, you bring the quarterback in and you say we are going with you. Forget why did Hugh Jackson have to start Tyrod Taylor? They didn't need to start him. Just bring Baker in. This is stupid. Look at what Jaden Daniels and what CJ Stroud did. Don't fart around. Just put the guy in. Get him ready to play.
But Washington is the prime example of what can happen when you have a functional locker room, when you have a functional ownership, when you have functional coaches. And I'm not saying that Stefanski, I am not, and I have not been on the fire Stefanski bandwagon. Lana would beat me. But I'm not on that bandwagon. But the coaching staff around all of those, all of our players hasn't been the best.
It doesn't seem so.
No. I mean, Ken Dorsey.
Well, obviously that was a complete and utter failure disaster, but you can trace that back to one person.
Well, you can trace a lot of stuff back to one person.
Right. So I think that this is not just lather, rinse, repeat. I don't think we're quite at lather, rinse, repeat. At this juncture, again, if you bring the quarterback in, we've seen Stefanski actually work with pretty much every quarterback he has coached.
He's a very good coach. He's a very good coach at catering to their talent.
He can get the most out of a quarterback that can play within the system and doesn't turn the ball over. I feel like whoever you get, put them in. I don't want Carson Stinky Wentz.
No, but as a bridge quarterback, it might not be a bad idea.
Why?
Why not? I mean, but okay.
Let me ask you this: if we go 1-7 with a bridge quarterback, is that better than going 1-7 with Sanders or with a rookie?
No. But what if the rookie gets hurt? You want someone in there that can play. Like, that's where I'm at. No,
you're worried about the games. You're worried about like the game speed from college to the pros and getting used to it. That's the thing that they have to rely. They've got to do better coaching. I put it on the coach. I put it on the coaching to get them ready.
I'm of the ilk that whoever we draft, better be game one. They're ready. They're starting. You're throwing them into the fire. But I think you need a solid bridge backup is what I'm saying.
Okay. Yeah, a backup. For me, though, the backup is the backup. I don't want to see their butts.
Well, I don't either, but it's the NFL and the crazy things happen. It's wild.
Well, especially in Cleveland, we have a history of starting 4 or 5 a year. No matter what we do, we've very rarely been able to go without having to start some other people due to injury. No, I just think that they have to maximize the talent. They've got to get whoever it is that they draft, they've got to get ready. So you look around and you look at the teams that need a quarterback, 1 and 2. After that, what are the Giants going to do? Did they end up going with Wilson because maybe they saw the price was going to be too steep to get up to 2 or 1? And
I think that yes, I do. But yes, the price is going to be way too steep because the 2 top teams need quarterbacks.
Exactly.
Yeah. So they were going to have to, you're going to have to pay me to drop down and take a risk on a Jackson Dart or a Will Howard that's going to be available in later rounds. I think that it was going to cost them way too much.
Right. Exactly. And I think Dart is probably going to be the next one to go. I think it's going to be Ward, Sanders, and then Dart somewhere in the first round. Then it's after that.
I don't think Dart goes in the first round. I think there's a drop off. Every mock draft that I've been involved in. Yeah, maybe if somebody is reaching.
The Steelers need a quarterback. The Saints need a quarterback.
The thing with the class this year is that there's such a massive drop off between 2 and everybody else that I think you can wait a little bit later. You can wait, and it's like the running backs. I know we're not talking about that right now, but running backs, it's such a rich class that you can wait a lot later this year because you're going to get talent. You're going to pick up a starter in that 4th round.
Yeah, I mean, in theory, as what you're saying, I could see a team. Let's say the Giants need a quarterback, but they're like, look, we're not going to get the quarterback we want in the first round. So we're going to take the best player available. Mm-hmm. We're going to take either, as everybody talks about, if they feel Abdul Carter or Hunter are the best players available, and then wait until they're going to be, I believe they have a top of the 2nd round draft pick. Do they have their 2nd round pick, Heather? Do you know by any chance? Trying to look and see if the Giants have their pick in the 2nd round. They do. They've got the Browns have the first pick in the 2nd round. The Giants have so in theory, yes, they could wait until the top of the 2nd round to get their guy. If the guys that they really wanted were at the top of their board are out, they're like, okay, we'll go best player available. Our next pick, assuming no one jumps back into the first round. That's where you have it.
Well, that's always there's a few exceptions. This trend has held true for the majority of successful teams. Yeah. The trade though, I wonder what players are going to be worth trading up for this year.
That's a great question, Heather. And I think it's going to be a matter of certain teams need certain players. There are guys you look at every once in a while. So people say that the Browns in 2017, it was a no-brainer getting like Myles Garrett.
Well,
and
we have the benefit of hindsight though, too.
Sure. But what I'm saying is he was coming out, he was projected so much better than some of these other guys that you said, we got to have him. This is worthwhile to take this guy. He can help change the entirety of our defense. And he certainly does that. But I don't know which players are so flawless, are ranked so highly. You look at a guy, again, Travis Hunter, he's going to make a difference for somebody.
Mm-hmm.
He definitely will. I don't know whether it's going to be on offense, if it's going to be on defense, but he's going to be a game changer for somebody.
He is, absolutely. And if he's on defense, I bet you they'll have him in the mix on special teams in some capacity, because you can't leave the ball out of his hands. But there are a lot of, it's a weak safety class this year too. So
it is.
Do you see some of them go a little bit earlier? It's a really interesting, there seems to be feast or famine this year. With wide receivers, it's always loaded with wide receivers. Speaking of wide receivers, did you see Emeka Egbuka, his grade?
I did not see his grade. What was his grade? I know they had their pro day today. How did he grade out? Not necessarily the pro day, but how did he grade out, Heather?
Yeah, so Emeka got I'm finding it how his RAS, the best you can get is 10. He was a 9.27.
That's amazing.
That's freakish. That's freakish. And he's a wide receiver. Like, that's just a 9.27. That's whew. That ain't bad.
No, but what about poor Tyleik Williams at Ohio State's pro day today, running the 40? Tyleik Williams goes down, and he grabbed his knee.
Oh, did he? I didn't see that. That's
yes,
too bad.
I don't know what I
haven't heard anything else.
Any kind of a diagnosis is, if it's anything serious. That is certainly sad to be running your 40. Like, again, so here's my question. Why was he running the 40? He's a defensive lineman.
I don't understand any of that. So they also had their bench reps today. And granted, these are only Ohio State players. I can't keep up with everybody, but Ty Hamilton, bench reps at 225, 35 from Ty Hamilton, 225. You guys, I lift weights, and when I do my 20s, I'm dying. And I understand that I'm a couch girl, right? But 20 pounds is a lot. This guy was did 225. Hamilton 35, Josh Simmons 34. I love to see that, because Josh Simmons with that injury. Donovan Jackson 32. G. Scott Jr., a tight end, had 25. Quinshon Judkins 24, JT Tuimoloau 24, Cody Simon 21, Jack Sawyer 21, Lathan Ransom 20, Jordan Hancock 14. Now, putting it into perspective, Lathan, I'm not sure where they're going to put him. I don't know where. I don't know. He could play at safety. Jordan Hancock, you don't care too much about that in your secondary. JTT at 24, Cody Simon at 21. He's also a safety. But so these pro day numbers, I don't know how much they're going to matter when these NFL coaches are looking at this.
Right.
It's these.
Yeah. No, you're exactly right. I don't know if that's a way you differentiate guys. It's kind of like when you go to school and you want to go to high school, and then you want to get in, you're applying for colleges. And I posted Mike was so kind as to post a tweet from Tyleik Williams. Apparently said, I'm okay, a little cramp at the end, nothing serious. If I ran through and didn't fall, blah, blah, blah. But it's one of those things that
He's like, I'm okay.
Exactly.
Nobody panic.
All is well. Not panic.
Yeah.
And, again, they may use it as the extracurricular activity of sorts to decide who they want and who they don't want. But certainly you can watch the film and you can see things in games. And you talked about these pro days. Now, wasn't that an interesting story for us Browns fans? Because all the hubbub that was made about Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski not being at Cam Ward's pro day. Oh, what do you know? They went and did a personal workout to actually get with him to do things they wanted to see him do. Not
correct. They didn't want to just see the generic, okay, here's all of the boxes that we need you to check. They wanted to see their own. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't believe people make such a huge deal out of this. And I did hear they had a couple of people there. They had the an assistant general manager, Glenn Cook, and somebody else was there. But the point being, they can scout, or at least they should be. If they can't, they need to be fired for not being able to scout these other people. And they went and they personally met with Cam Ward. The nonsense is crazy.
And there are so many teams. I was just trying to look up who I know what Green Bay is one. So I've been doing a lot of these draft podcasts, which has been so much fun because I'm learning so much about this. But like Green Bay, for example, Green Bay is really hard to do these mock drafts for, I was told, because they have such a very specific list of things that they look for that you're not going to get on pro day. They don't care about your speed, like your how fast are you running, the 40. They look at your wingspan, they look at your height, they look at some of these things that are, the intangibles that don't show up on the stat sheets. They want a certain type of athlete, which maybe they should change that because, how's that working out for them? But who am I? But so you got to wonder, like, are these pro days like a baseline? Okay, I see that he's got 35 reps. Okay, now I want to see a little bit more about him and maybe interview him a little bit more.
Right, exactly. I think it's important to be there, but you can watch all of the tape. I think that you can even, if I understood correctly, even if you're not at the pro day, you can watch film of the pro day. I mean, they're filming it. So
they are. Yeah.
So you can watch it. I understand you're not there, but if you really want to meet with somebody, you have X number of meetings. You can set things up with these people. However, you talked. How's that been working for you? Well, Browns, how's that been working for you? Maybe you want to change something up here and do a little bit something different. It's, instead of doing that, wit's
the definition of insanity.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it's insanity. It's just, all of this stuff is tiring. Are you tired of it yet? Can you? I can't wait till April 24th.
I'm tired of like some of the rumors and things like that.
That's what I mean.
It's fun to talk. Yeah, the rumors. I think it's fun to talk about some of the potential scenarios, like the draft scenarios. But I think that the rumors and like who's going where and all of that is getting a little bit old. Like, let's just let it play out and see where. Because again, who had Russell Wilson going to the Giants? And there is someone out there that's going to say, I did. Yeah. Even the blind squirrel finds a nut every now and then. So
yeah, it certainly makes you wonder, because apparently or allegedly there was interest for Aaron Rodgers as a possible New York as a possible destination. The Giants. Who knows where he's going to end up? I think there's still some talk. He may, not with the Steelers, he may end up in Minnesota. If he does, what does that say about JJ McCarthy? Because I can't imagine Aaron Rodgers going somewhere to be a backup.
No, Aaron Rodgers is not going anywhere to be a backup.
That would be strange.
Aaron Rodgers needs to go to Bob Evans on, Saturday mornings with all the other retirees.
Yeah, I agree. He can go on. He can arrange.
Go get your coffee and your bread, and yeah,
he can arrange and coordinate ayahuasca retreats, I think.
I don't know. Maybe that'll make him normal. I don't know.
It may.
I wouldn't. Mike, personally no.
He stunk at Michigan, at Michigan, and I don't have much faith for him in the NFL.
Yeah.
It's like you talked about. First of all, at Michigan,
yes,
he wasn't even that great, and he had a stacked team around him. And I wasn't impressed at all. We'll see. I might be wrong. Apparently, Kevin O'Connell is another, God's gift to quarterbacks. I don't know, but I'm not buying in to the JJ McCarthy hype train over there. So
I'm not either. And me, again, maybe maybe it's just me being sour grapes, but maybe he'll prove me wrong. I didn't love, now that's I'm very sorry that he got hurt the way that he did, because I don't care. I don't care where you went to school. Like, I don't care. You never want to see. I mean, there are some players where you're like, karma. But just because of where you go to school, yeah. We know that. We know that. But just because of where you go to school, like, I don't want to see you get hurt. But do I wish him success?
Unless he's playing in brown and orange. Nope.
Correct.
That's just not gonna.
Although I still didn't root for success for Braylon Edwards. There was something about him that was just intrinsically punchable. Like, I just didn't like him.
Well, he had a showdown with LeBron. Like, there was a big thing. He was like the big kahuna in Cleveland, and LeBron like, what?
He's like, no, get your bag, your end of the line. Like, no, it's me, babe.
Yeah, I mean, I will have to say, certainly some good Michiganders. Steve Hyden, was it Steve Everett from Michigan that was from the Browns player? I think it was Steve Everett. He was an offensive lineman who was pretty solid.
Nobody cares about the offensive lineman until your quarterback's on his back the whole game. Then people don't care.
We got Devin Bush. You know.
Yeah.
I got nothing else on these guys. All right. I give up. I give up on that.
Yeah,
you know
so the draft is going to be, and you know what? I know that we're tired of hearing about it, but I promise you guys, we're going to keep talking about it for the next month.
Yeah, we are.
There's just so much to go over and cover. And Ethan and I are going to work on getting one of my, one of those my draft buddies on our show. And we're going to have a whole draft. We're
going to talk about it until your ears bleed. No, I mean,
we are. You guys are you're gonna thank us for it too.
Yeah, it's good to be educated when it comes to the draft, and you start wondering what's going on and why they're doing, or at least have an idea of what the teams are looking for. Because certainly then you can at least look at it in a critical way, and understand why this team did X, Y, and Z, whether it works or not. That's always going to be a crapshoot. That's always going to be a crapshoot. I don't know. So I think that we beat this to beat a dead horse here on the draft right now.
Yeah.
Why don't we switch to a happy topic? The Cavs.
The Cavs back on the win. We're back in the win column.
We are. They won the last two games. Last night they win in Portland.
Pretty convincingly.
They did all right. I mean, it was nip and tuck.
Yeah.
But they held their own, and Darius Garland played. That was a welcome sight. To see him lead the team, 27 points, 11 of 19 shooting. All right, Mike, let's not get into the Nick Chubb thing, okay? For those of you who are watching,
I don't want to talk about that right now.
Yeah, we ain't got. Look, there'll be a whole other episode.
We just talked a whole lot of misery. Let's save that for another show.
I think so. I do like that idea. No, I mean, they go 2-3 on the West Coast swing. They lost a season high for them 4 in a row.
4 in a row, yeah. Started with Atlanta.
Had it not been for them playing so well leading it all season long, we would have been like, oh crap. But
we would have all been panicking. Right.
Yeah, definitely. I think, or it may not have been as alarming or frustrating, the losses, if they were kind of up and down during the season. You're like, yeah, they're going to lose these games. They're on the West Coast.
Right. They've been so good that it was a shock to everybody's system that they showed signs of being human.
Yes, exactly. The other players that chipped in last night, Ty Jerome again off the bench.
Did you see what Donovan tweeted?
No, what did he tweet? I missed that.
He said death, taxes, and Ty Jerome.
Yes, I did. Okay, I did catch that. No, that's amazing. And Evan Mobley stepped up defensively. He had 21 points, 12 rebounds, 4 blocked shots. He was very important. All those guys were important. Even Jared Allen, he had a pretty meh first half. Second half was a little bit better. He stepped up, made some plays when necessary. And Sam Merrill was in the starting lineup. He got 14 points he shot 4 of 6 from 3. I mean,
I know.
What is he doing in the game?
Right.
I mean, really?
Right. Pickings are slim here.
I don't know about that. And I think I saw that tomorrow when the Cavs are back in action, taking on the Spurs, I believe Evan Mobley is going to be out
for rest.
For rest.
That sucks. I'm going to be at the game tomorrow.
Well, you're going to have to lift them up to get over the Spurs. And isn't it kind of crazy what we're seeing come out of the NBA since the All-Star break? First Wembanyama with the
now Dame.
Yeah, and now Damian Lillard out indefinitely with the DVT, the deep vein thrombosis.
The deep vein thrombosis,
in his right calf. I mean, that sucks. And it's got to be. I mean, like we were just talking about, you don't wish harm on anybody, no matter where they went to school, and it really does. It's a stinker for Milwaukee. It might be the Haslam curse. I'm not sure.
It might be. Let's just blame it. Let's just blame it on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Mike, I hope that he'll play. Donovan Mitchell goes through his ups and downs. If we're winning, we don't need him to be on all the time. I will tell you, on April, I think it's April 6th, Lana and I, my friend Lana and I, are going to the Cavs game, and we are sitting on the floor. And we are right behind the Cavs bench. And I'm going to be dangerously close to restraining order territory. So we will. I'm very excited about this stretch for the Cavs because I will be at the game tomorrow. I will be at the game 4-6, and I will be at the game 4-8. So,
man, I am. Wow, that is fantastic. But can you get our business cards slipped into each of their pockets?
Listen, I will totally. Isaac is going to, right before I get arrested for stalking.
Say, I'm going to stalk you like Brian Windhorst stalks LeBron.
Absolutely. I'm riding your coattails, Isaac. I have your shoes on. Like, what else do you want? I guarantee you I'm the only person in that arena that has his shoes on. Mike, when is your birthday? What's your birthday? 4-6? I'll get arrested for you for your birthday.
Okay. No, that is amazing. But now, okay, so let me ask you an interesting question, because you are going to be sitting behind the bench. Are you worried you won't be able to see?
Yes. Yeah, we will not.
Especially Lana.
Poor Lana. So you guys have to understand, my she's my best friend, and she's 4'11". She's pocket sized. So it's
she's gonna sit on your shoulders.
She can sit on my shoulders, and it still wouldn't obstruct the views of the people behind us.
I think that would work. But what is the deal with NBA teams with multiple rows of coaches?
I don't understand it. So I went to the game a couple of weeks ago, and I was again on the floor. And do not ask me how I fall into these situations. So we were sitting like right behind the basket, and I could see the bench perfectly. And I'm like, why are there's 17 coaches? There's like there's 13 players, and there's like 7. Each player has its own nanny. It felt like.
And oh my God, it's crazy. I don't ever remember this. This is some new thing that they've got going on. But also, did you see? They've got some nice seats there.
They do have some very nice seats. Yeah, they have some very nice seats.
You can just stick the coin in and do the vibration.
Yeah. Exactly. Yes, Mike, she's 4'11", so she's little. When I went to the game a couple weeks ago, we sat down, and the NBA has the warnings on the seats, and I'm like, you're not the boss of me. I'll behave however I behave. But no, I'm excited. I'm excited to it's just so much fun to see this team. And what I love about this, so Ethan, let me ask you, I know that we're getting close to the hour here, but let me ask you, how good or bad is it for the NBA that it is Oklahoma City and the Cleveland Cavaliers that are emerging as the front runners in the Western Conference and the Eastern Conference? You have two of the smallest markets. The NBA, I feel like, is probably dying a slow death right now because it's those two teams.
Yeah, they are. I would say that they're going, crap. What are we going to do if these are the two teams in the finals? They do not have the largest television media markets. Obviously, we've got some very talented players and talented teams. SGA is one of the up-and-coming players in the NBA, and he will carry it. Certainly, Donovan Mitchell, We love him. I don't know
Mhm.
how big he is around the rest of the country. I would assume there's people who are fans of his. They know his work. But I'm not sure how big he is outside of the region. It is difficult, and they're going to hate it. And maybe that's why every day on national media, they trash the Cavs, especially. They don't talk squat about the Thunder, but the Cavs, yeah, they're fast to do it. However, do you recall just a few weeks ago, I could see the Lakers and the Celtics in the NBA Finals.
I did hear that. Yeah.
Get the heck out of here.
Yeah, he changes his mind. I change my mood. He changes his opinions on things. So whatever. I don't even care. Yeah, Mike, but that's financially not the best for the league. But yeah, I do think for the league, it's probably good. I don't know. As a Cavs fan, I'm like, yes, this is the greatest thing ever. But as a casual fan, I'm not sure if casual fans will tune in because it's not the same stupid teams over and over and over and over again.
Well, and I don't remember. I'm trying to think back to growing up, some of the best series, and to think if they were always the biggest markets involved. Obviously during the 90s, you had the 6 different years where you were watching the Bulls in the finals.
The Bulls, yeah.
and it was Michael Jordan, but certainly they're playing Phoenix. They played Seattle one year. They played
the Supersonics.
Garrett the Glove and Sean Kemp. A heck of a team.
Sean Kemp he had lots of kids.
And then he played for the Cavs with Thunder Dan.
He did.
And the Candyman, Terrell Brandon. Or no, was he with Brandon or Andre Miller? I can't remember when that was in the late 90s when he was here. I'm trying to remember who. Wesley Person, I think, was here too.
Oh my God. Yeah. That's a name I haven't heard in a while. Wow.
Yeah. Those were some teams. They tried hard.
They tried their best.
Hey, they were carrying the torch there after Doherty had to, step away, and Nance had run, and Price was traded. But ultimately, the NBA, they're going to have to market it hard. And fans who love basketball, and that might be a positive thing, though, Heather.
Well, yeah, because it's not the same team. The casual fan is like, I personally, if it's LA that's and I'm not a casual fan, right? I love the NBA. I love basketball. If it's the Lakers, Celtics, count me out.
Yeah, I don't know that I watched 1 minute of last year's finals.
No, I didn't. I certainly didn't. I didn't care.
No, I absolutely didn't care.
Yeah.
But I think, though, that the way kids have changed as fans, where they root for the player, not the team,
well, right.
That actually might bode well, because they're like, oh, man, we love Donovan Mitchell. We love
absolutely.
SBA.
Yeah.
And those types of fans are going to tune in because they love the NBA. They love the players. It's so much fun. And, we're going to have next week, or when we come on next, we're going to have to talk March Madness, talk about what's coming up there.
Yeah, we did miss a lot of there was a lot going on today. It derailed our whole plan because of how much happened today.
Yeah, but that's the beautiful thing about sports.
Yes.
Things don't stop.
No.
Things just don't stop. And you know what? Tomorrow is opening day.
It is. Tomorrow is opening day. I'm super, super, super excited. Baseball was my first love, so I'm all in on the Guardians. I don't think that they're going to be as good as they were last year, but I didn't think they were going to be that great last year either. So, hey, I'm in for the ride. I'm all in.
Yeah, definitely. Look, we lost Naylor and Jimenez.
We did. Jimenez made me sad.
It does make me sad. I understand he was a favorite, but we bring back Carlos Santana. And I think that ultimately the second base position was very crowded. So it's just a matter of time until it's a placeholder for Travis Bazana. And that hopefully will work, and hopefully will be very exciting. Let's see if the pitching, the bullpen, and Stephen Vogt can have the same type of fortune overall as they did last year, because he had to pitch with a decimated or play with the decimated pitching rotation. Let's hope it can be for the better this coming season. And with that, folks, I think we've said it all and more.
We've said a lot today. Thank you guys for sticking with us. There was a lot going on today, and it's like the Festivus of sports. There's a lot to say, and we got a lot of problems, and you're gonna hear about it.
Yes, we have a lot of grievances we need to air. And
I've got a lot of problems with you people. Yeah, we're gonna start with the airing of grievances.
We are, and there will be a Festivus poll at one of these days. There will be
we should bring a Festivus poll in.
There will be feats of strength at some point.
I'm so in.
I almost lost a feat of strength with the shower curtain rod, though. That could have been it. I should have brought the rusty shower curtain rod as my.
And then we could have said, you know what it feels like to be a Browns fan? Show the rusty shower curtain.
Oh boy! Oh, we are going off the air. On that note, all right, folks. Thank you everybody for tuning in so much. Again, like, subscribe, follow us on YouTube, on X, all of our social medias. Be sure to check out all the great programming of the Fanatical Elves Network, the Fans First Sports Network. And with that, Heather, that's going to do it here for tonight. I'm Ethan Greenberg along with Heather. You've been tuned into the best doggone podcast in the land.